station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 4.
Here's a look at today's top stories all across the DMV.
They gave us the most comfort that they could.
Yeah, the worst thing was just no AC for 2 hours.
The service suspended after a morning derailment at Union Station with people inside the train. We'll look at what may have caused the derailment and when travelers can expect service to return in the impacted areas.
Plus, Prince George's County Public Schools will soon have metal detectors. Coming up here, what led to this change and what else is happening there.
And we're stretching your dollar. A new inflation report could mean changes to your budget. We'll show you the best places for you to pick up essentials without breaking the bank. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Annalisa Gale. We'll get to those top stories in just a few minutes, but first let's take a look outside. Beautiful Tuesday. A little hot, Mark.
Yeah, I know, but we keep talking about that the humidity is lower than it was maybe this time last week, so that's certainly something to celebrate. Let's head over now to meteorologist Scott Sumner, who's in for Damon Matson for a first look at the forecast. Hey, Scott, how are things looking?
Really great, guys. I tell you what, this is where I really would like to be, right here at the beach. I got to tell you that. Beautiful weather out there at Rehoboth Beach and all the beaches around the region. Lots of sunshine out there. Water temperature very, very nice. And as far as, getting some sun, yeah, you got it today, and you'll get it tomorrow, too. It'll even be a little hotter at the beaches as opposed to what we had this afternoon. Right now, we're looking at 90 in the district. Same for Waldorf here, but a little cooler by the water wherever you are. Annapolis at 85 degrees and Lexington Park just a little bit cooler by a degree at 89 degrees. But tomorrow, oh yeah, we got that heat crank back up here, and instead of the lower 90s, we'll most likely be into the middle 90s, and we'll also be talking about heat indices. Now, granted, I don't foresee them getting into the warning criteria, but needless to say, it is going to be feeling a little bit sweltering out there as we go throughout the next couple of afternoons. But tonight, very, very comfortable outside. Yeah, you won't really need to crank the fan too much. I know the fan's gotten worn out from all the use that it's been going through each afternoon and evening, but it looks like you don't need the fan this evening because it will be fairly comfortable. As a matter of fact, your hour-by-hour forecast to plan your evening from 6 to 7 to 9 p.m., 90 at 6 p.m., but into the upper 80s at 7 and into the middle 80s by 9 p.m. with no threat of any sort of shower and or thunderstorm across the area. That bodes well for you. So let's take a look at the weather headlines here. Yeah, it's been a dry and pleasant afternoon. Still comfortable as we get into your Wednesday, but typical summer-like weather is going to arrive here on Thursday, and rain chances continue into the weekend beyond Thursday here. Your 7-day forecast is coming up.
All right, Scott, thank you. In developing now, trapped in a tunnel, Amtrak passengers were stuck in the dark after the train came off the rails at Union Station.
Yeah, passengers right now are dealing with Amtrak disruptions and suspensions. DC News Now's Dave Laval has been following this story all day. He's joining us live from Union Station with the latest now. Dave?
Good afternoon, Annalisa and Mark. Amtrak service remains suspended between D.C. and Richmond, Virginia, as crews inspect the area and get the derailed cars back on the tracks. They're also trying to find out what caused this derailment. Some passengers told us they didn't even know happened until someone told them about it.
Like, it wasn't anything concerning. We just thought we were at Union Station.
Not quite for Savannah Dunn and Janai Rourke of Stafford, Virginia. They and other passengers found themselves trapped in a tunnel near the station Tuesday after their train derailed.
And we didn't feel that.
We will hopefully get something soon.
Passengers sat in the dark after Amtrak said in a news release the lead locomotive and the first passenger car derailed, but remained upright. Power was cut so DC fire and EMS crews could get to the stranded as they provided passengers with water.
Interesting. Oh, that's all I can say is interesting.
Emergency responders told us they trained for these types of situations.
We have had drills specifically involving incidents in that tunnel, involving trains, involving derailments, involving fires.
Amtrak took the passengers on another train to L'Enfant Plaza and provided other transportation to Union Station.
We were expecting to just have a 5-hour trip down to New York.
Yeah. The worst thing was I missed a work meeting that I was supposed to join virtually.
But Dunn has a pretty good excuse why she did not attend it.
Amtrak told us one employee did go to the hospital, but we have not been told why. Also, DC Fire and EMS told us they treated one passenger, but did not expand on that any further. But again, the big thing to point out here, Amtrak service between DC and Richmond remains suspended as crews check on the tracks. It's the best advice right now. Call Amtrak before you come here. We're live at Union Station. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
All right, Dave, thank you. The Prince William Board of Supervisors weighing a resolution that will pause making any land use decisions until its next term. Well, this comes amid contentious county-wide debate over adding data centers. More than 24 supporters of the proposed resolution demonstrated ahead of today's vote, and they expressed concerns over the impact of data centers on the power grid and natural resources. Elena Schlossberg with the Coalition to Protect Prince William County says the resolution is similar to the one adopted 3 years ago.
Lawson, it's nonpartisan. The people that showed up today cross party lines, cross religion, cross socioeconomic boundaries, cross race. It's just cross county. This is the community. And these are the people that are staying. These are the people that are fighting not only for their homes, but for the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In our full report from the meeting at 5, you're going to hear from one farmer who says that land use decisions could mean tens of millions of dollars in profit for his family.
Yeah, Mark, the project known as the Prince William County Gateway Plan began community engagement meetings a year and a half ago. The topic is a divisive one among leaders and people who live there.
The board hasn't formally heard the case and voted on the rezoning of that land. So some people will say it's a done deal. Well, it's not done.
Rezoning applications have been submitted by Compass and QTS Realty Trust, but there's no word on when the Board of Supervisors will wrap up the final hearing and vote. Concerns expressed by those opposed to transforming the 2,000 acres into the data center hub include preserving history at sites like the Manassas battlefield and local cemeteries. To that, Compass says they have modified their proposed layout to leave 3 cemeteries undisturbed. They're also saying they'll limit the building heights near the battlefield to 60 feet. Compass Data Centers has also addressed concerns about noise, saying they'll work to mitigate noise through best-in-class technologies. We'll be sure to let you know when a vote is scheduled. Mark?
And Lisa, new this afternoon, increased security at Prince George's County Schools. Superintendent Millard House announcing today new safety enhancements, including metal detectors and requiring students to carry clear backpacks. Several students have been caught with guns at schools recently, including an incident yesterday during summer school at Central High School. The superintendent says that they're working with stores and a plan to provide some of those clear backpacks before the next school year begins.
The message here is to ensure that our community knows and understands that we want the safest environment possible, and we want to modify and pivot as needed to make certain that we're making the necessary decisions that make sense around school safety.
Well, hiring enough teachers, staff, and bus drivers was also a big topic in today's meeting. There will be a hiring event tomorrow at Dr. Henry A. Wise High School in Upper Marlboro from until 6 p.m. Coming up tonight at 9 on DC News Now, we're going to tell you how parents feel about these new changes.
Turning now to Montgomery County, a new anti-hate task force is being created to deal with the rise in hate and bias incidents. The first meeting tonight is at 7. It's being held at the Wheaton Library and Community Recreation Center. A total of 8 meetings are planned between now and late November.
Well, right now, leaders at Metro are looking ahead at some long-term projects that could transform transit across the DMV. DC News Now's Randy Bass is in Georgetown breaking down what it could mean for commuters on the Blue Line.
Yeah, right now that price tag looking like $30 billion. This really is a transformative transit project that could change the way we look at rail in the DMV forever. They're talking about extending the Blue Line, effectively creating a blue loop that goes through DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We're talking about adding stations in Oxon Hill, National Harbor, Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, and right here in Georgetown. Let's take a look at the bigger picture, though. We're really just scratching the surface when it comes to what this means for Metro. It involves extending the Blue Line south south of Union Station into Navy Yard, further into southeast D.C., into Oxon Hill, then back across the river into Northern Virginia, north to Roslyn, and east into Georgetown and D.C.'s West End. This is just one of half a dozen possible plans Metro leaders are set to consider at their meeting on Thursday. Right now, Metro says it's the best plan to reduce crowds and keep up with growing interest in transit. People we talked to were on board with the proposal.
I've traveled down to Georgetown. It's very congested. It's very hard to find parking, so maybe if there's more accessible ways that you get closer to Georgetown, either by train or parking in the garage, that would be very helpful.
And if this plan to create a blue line loop really comes full circle, it could earn the transit system an extra $154 million a year in fare revenue and add 180,000 new trips across the system every day.
Now, don't get too excited. This is a long-term plan. You won't be jumping on a train from Georgetown to National Harbor anytime soon. Not next year, not in the next 10 years. This plan, if it goes into effect, might be complete by 2040. In Northwest, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, thanks to Randy. They say you have to play the game to win, and if you do, you're in luck. The Powerball jackpot still growing as tickets failed to match all 6 numbers in Monday's drawing. Jackpot has been growing since mid-April and has only continued to climb. This is the 2nd largest jackpot in 2023, but it could rank as the 7th largest in game history if someone doesn't win on Wednesday, or someone does win on Wednesday, pardon me. The jackpot is now at $725 million with a cash option estimated to be over $360 million.
Oh, that's a lot of money. New tonight. Today was National Harbor Kids Day, which happens every Tuesday from June through August. That event is a way for families to enjoy activities together and to learn. Today, the kids practice stepping it out using musical sounds to learn how critical thinking and choreography go hand in hand.
We're always looking for creative ways to engage kids. We're always, especially in the summertime, looking for ways to keep them busy, ways to interact and engage. We want to stimulate their minds and get them as active as possible, and this is one of the ways that we're doing that.
The next event will be on July 18th, where there will be a meet and greet with Prince George's County Police and Fire and EMS Department.